All right, hey guys, today we're gonna be making, and thank you guys so much for helping me out, making, like, this is a very, very small version of it, books, fake books. You see the binding and where the white pages would be, but there's no top or bottom, for Matilda. And you guys will be doing it on real cardboard boxes. All I had around was like small scale stuff like macaroni and cheese and cereal boxes. So I'm going to explain to you guys how to do it. First of all, you need a box, and you guys will have big boxes. I just have small ones, and you need to break it down. So break it down flat, either with scissors. You're going to need a box, scissors, and packing tape or duct tape. Hot glue would work too, but that would take a long time, so we're not going to do that. So make sure that you aren't ripping any part of your box like I am ripping this part of the box, because almost all parts of it will go into making it, and you might be able to make multiple books out of each box. So we've laid it flat now, my pumpkin spice Cheerios box, and we're going to cut out the big panels. So the big panels, whatever size box, and maybe your box is really big and all 4 panels are big. This one just has 2 panels that are really big, and we're going to cut out the 2 biggest panels, and those will become 2 different books. So let me just do one for you guys. All right, so maybe it has like some nasty sides like mine does. I'm going to go ahead and cut those off too, like as straight as possible. And you guys will be working on this on a larger scale, making really big books that can be seen from afar. And let's say that your box, like mine, has a design on it. Make sure that that design is on the inside of the book where it's not visible, and the cardboardy part is on the outside, because the cardboard is what will accept paint, but the like design and the plastic on the front won't accept paint. And we're going to paint these all like very whimsical colors, and Miss Haddix will help you with that. So, we take this now, like a perfect size. If we were folded in half, it would kind of look like a book. But we need one more, like, element to the book. We need, just like this one has, we need the fake paper that we're going to paint white in the middle. So I'm just going to use one of, like, the nasty parts that I cut off to do that. And, so I have the white part, that the white pages, I guess, of the book and the actual binding. And of course, I'm going to put the shiny stuff on the inside so it can't be seen. And here's where it kind of gets like subjective. You don't want to crease it, like fold it in half and crease it, because then your binding would be creased like this horrible representation was. Instead, you kind of want to find the middle, and take your fingers and go out from the middle just a tad. And then make creases there instead. So that, and let me show you, it's easy if you have like a ruler or the edge of a book. With real cardboard has like really good creasing in it, so you'll probably just be able to find an existing crease. So let me fold this really quick. Oh, I'm doing it the wrong way too. Like I told you guys, make sure if there's a design, try and put it on the inside, because like plasticky stuff doesn't accept paint very well. So I'm going to crease it there and crease it on the other side. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but you will in a minute, I promise. So there. So I made a pretty good crease on 2 sides. So that's the binding, and as even as possible. Maybe you're really meticulous and you want to measure. Now my 2 sides come together and they're mostly even. With your cardboard, it'll be a little bit more forgiving, and I want to really crease that to the best of my ability and make it like a really stark contrast between where the binding starts and where the front and back of the book starts. So we've got a really straight binding in the front and the back of the makings of our book, but bindings aren't typically straight. For example, here's a book where the binding is all very rounded. So we want a rounded binding, and you just take your hands and kind of push it out and round it a little bit. Kind of like you're taking the 2 creases and kind of pushing them together to make it a little bit more round. But again, you don't want to make ugly creases down the side. And honestly, if you do, it's not that giant of an ordeal, because it's going to be so far away from the audience, like up and around the stage. So now we've got the binding of the book ready to be painted a whimsical color and whatever. And we'll probably end up painting like maybe little black squiggly lines as like a title, or black squiggly lines on the binding or something like that. But they'll be painted all sorts of different colors and put all over the stage. But we don't have pages yet, and that will be pretty obvious. It looks more like a binder than a book right now. So that's where we're going to take kind of like the ugly end of just a box we cut up. And make sure that this piece, what's going to be your pages, your white pages of the book, is thinner than the binding itself, but maybe not too thin. And I'll show you why. This may be too thin. So what we're doing here is we're basically taping this piece in here so that the book looks closed and there's white pages. And I would say that this one is pretty okay. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. So I've pre-cut some pieces of tape in front of me. You take the, so I'm so sorry about the state of this room as well. You take the, so now I'm like on the inside of the book, and I'm gonna line up the pages, because you know the pages on a book aren't right on the edge. They're just a little bit off, and I'm gonna tape it right here. Actually, I'll do it with the cardboard side out because that's what Miss Keller told me to do, right? So I'm going to tape it like not completely on the edge, but a little bit on the inside. And I will show you why here in a second. Oop, sorry. So I got some tape. I'm going to tape it a little bit and make sure that's right. Well, goodness, guys, I'm sorry. I should have been more prepared, shouldn't I have? A little bit off the edge, okay. And then I'm going to take, so now I have it a little bit taped in there. You close my book. Once I tape that, there are the pages, and you see they're inset a little bit. So it's just kind of like trying to figure out how to tape it best. I keep pushing the shelf. How to tape it best. And I put another piece of tape and duct tape, packing tape. They're not going to be handled, so if it's not super sturdy, as long as it's not falling apart. I added a little bit too much tape, so I got to do some cutting. Sorry. Okay. And so I taped it. Now I'm going to put this on top and pull the binding out a little bit. Oop, I didn't do that very well. Luckily, cardboard's pretty forgiving, especially if you use some packing tape instead of like duct tape or hot glue. Although hot glue would do well here. Hot glue, packing tape, or duct tape works. Okay. I got it taped in there. Now we have the real pages that we will paint white, and like one whoosh of paint will, and this cardboard will accept it really well. We have a book. We have binding. Thank you very much for helping me out, and hopefully your books are a lot bigger than this. We're going for really big ones.